Alright, so hey, what's going on, guys? It's SonicSaber25, and welcome back to some more Sonic Colors. Last time, we took care of all of the red rings. Oh boy, I know that it looked like a really short compilation to you guys, but my god, there were hours of work put into it. Jeez. Anyway, we're going to go ahead and reap the fruits of all of our labor by getting to the Sonic Simulator levels in this episode. Wow, my voice cracked. Great. I'm just going to go ahead and pick Sonic. We're going to go maximum speed here. And we have 21 levels that are honestly quite uneventful. In fact, before we get into every single one of these levels, it's worth pointing out that the first of every single one of these levels, the 7, 1, 6, 1, etc., they don't have any wisps at all. The other thing to point out is that they have this, I don't know, very uninspiring background with an 8-bit version of the world theme. One of the park themes, basically. They have an 8-bit version of that. So, as you can see, this one here is a tropical resort. And we're just going to go ahead and get into it. I don't know. We have these platforms here that disappear under us, so they mimic crumbling platforms. And this thing here is an egg medal. You don't have to get it. There's one in every level. It just gives you a score boost. There's absolutely no point unless you're interested in score attacks in this game.
But why? Why would you do that?
I don't know. Maybe some person's interested in that. So, that's the first level. And let me tell you, they are all this short. And I don't understand it. I guess the real point of this game is that it's meant to be multiplayer, and I will be honest, that's where this game shines, but I neither have a spare Wii remote nor a friend who wants to play this game with me at the moment. So, we're gonna have to settle for me doing this alone, because I couldn't convince anyone to play this with me. Anyway, heading on to 1-2, we actually have some wisps here, which is pretty cool. I guess another thing to mention is that this isn't Sonic, this is a robot that's meant to act like Sonic, and it's supposed to mimic his abilities, I suppose. And I'm sure you can see it. It's like, I'm just like trying to focus so that I don't like mess up anything. So the wisps here are very, well, they aren't different, but they look very different. Basically, every single wisp, instead of being the original color, is the color of your character. My guess is so that this can easily help in differentiating when you're playing two-player, so that, you know, you don't get confused on whose laser is who. I guess it doesn't really work with the more one-and-done wisps, more that it works with wisps that have a continuous state, like the drill or the spikes or something. So, it's very basic, I'm gonna be honest. I don't want to keep saying that. So, how about this? How about we talk about some of the wisps here? So, for those of you who don't know, Sonic Colors was a Wii game.
Oh my god! Wow!
I know it sounds kind of dumb saying that, but I'm going somewhere with this. So, being a Wii game, this game had a... What the heck? Okay. It wasn't going up for a minute. I was wondering why. I'm gonna try to get that egg medal. Anyway, being a Wii game, this game had a manual that came along with it. And interestingly enough, that manual came with descriptions of the various wisps. I'll go ahead and read out some of the... Well, I've abridged them a little bit because I don't want to just read out the descriptions for you. But I'll keep the actual descriptions of all the wisps on screen. Let me just go to the next one here, and then we can start. So, the white wisps are the most common, and they're described as friendly, and they love to talk a lot.
Oh no!
Besides that, they're also described as very fast, scatterbrained, and that they never stop moving, which I guess makes sense because, you know, as a laser, it would be very active. Can I get this? I want to see if I can. But yeah, I don't think the wall jump goes off fast enough for you to even attempt that. Looks like we're going ahead and pressing these down. let's move on to possibly the most lackluster description for the yellow wisp, where the only thing that is present beyond their ability is that they're fond of earth and water.
Wow.
Am I supposed to activate the cube there? Anyway, it makes sense when you look at their power set. It's that they were meant to basically be drilling through underground and underwater sections. So saying that they're fond of earth and water, I guess makes sense. Oh, I'm supposed to be here. Okay. These levels are they drag along a bit, honestly speaking. I know they're short, but it feels like they take forever, despite being so short. Anyway, moving on, we have the blue wisps, which are described as having sharp minds, and they make excellent leaders. It also says that if they put their mind to some kind of big plan, then they almost always accomplish.
I ain't gonna lie, I'm getting cooked.
Oh my god! I just saw my death approaching, or my damage, and did nothing about it. Anyway, so they're described as if they have a big plan or something like that, then they'll almost always succeed at pulling it off. Which I guess is kind of weird for describing a wisp that's basically a P-switch. So after that, the orange wisps are described as very sensitive and emotional, meaning that they get angry very easily and they also get happy very easily. Basically, that's the description of your standard Twitter user these days.
It's a Chaos Emerald!
I apparently already activated the goal ring. Oh well. Anyway, those bingo machines, if you get 3 Eggmans, you get the jackpot, because again, this is Eggman's park and his Sonic Simulator, so he would obviously make his face the highest prize-winning thing, I suppose. Anyway, the orange wisps, besides getting very happy or depressed, whether they are praised or if they make a mistake, they're also... That was close. They also are described to get angry really easily, which I guess makes sense. Like fiery rocket type of thing. So, very easy to anger. But after that, we come to a very confusing one, which is the green wisp. And they're described as subtle yet goofy, which doesn't really make sense to me because a goofy person, in my opinion, is possibly one of the least subtle. And I don't know, it doesn't make sense. It's a bit of a weird one. But I guess, yeah, that's it for the green wisps. Again, I'm going to take another break from describing the wisps here for a second, just to show you that this is a recreation of Marble Zone here. And a lot of the Sonic Simulator levels are going to do this, where they basically recreate the original Sonic 1 levels in these, I don't know, I guess you could call them more modern formats. They're basically just recreating the platforming challenges with the assets of this game. I don't know if you want to call that modern, but sure, I guess you could if you want.
When you try your best, but you don't succeed.
Oh, crap. Yeah, I saw that happening. I really shouldn't have gone for that medal. I just wanted to.
12 seconds later.
So, the pink wisps are described as being very harsh, but they're usually kind by nature, which I guess kind of makes sense in a way. I don't know. Again, this one's a bit weird where I guess someone could be harsh. They could say things. Maybe like your parents, they say stuff that's harsh, but they're also kind by nature. I don't know. I just described not my parents, but I just described parents to a wisp. So, the last wisp is possibly the most interesting one, which is, of course, the purple wisp. Now, what these are meant to be, or at least from the description that I read, these are Nega Wisps, and that's the obvious part. But it seems like the Nega Wisps is like a group of which the Purple Wisps are a part. Think of Nega Wisps as like a broader spectrum that a Purple Wisp belongs to. So, the reason I think that is because, well, first of all, the way the game describes it. But secondly, it's also, if you guys didn't know, Sonic Colors, I don't know why I said it's also, but in case you guys didn't know, Sonic Colors also had a DS version. In that, some of the wisps are absent from the Wii version, but they have 2 wisps that are, I'd say kinda different, but I guess I could describe them as similar in mechanics to some of the wisps, but they are very different in terms of form and in terms of power. Even though some of the mechanics might be what you guys are used to. Oh, that was great. First try, nailed it. Anyway, so the other 2 wisps that are present in the DS version are the red burst wisps and the purple void wisp. So these 2 wisps, well, the burst wisp especially is basically like playing Flappy Bird. You basically have to charge up, I guess you could say it's like Flappy Bird, but also you have to charge up a jump. So you charge up the jump and you basically go up in this arc with the with the red burst wisp. So that's kind of interesting. It's the first wisp that's introduced to you instead of the cyan wisp in this game, in the DS version of this game rather. The second wisp that is in the DS version that isn't in the Wii version is another Nega Wisp. This is the Violet Void Wisp. So the Violet Void Wisp basically functions as Frenzy and Hover combined in a way. It basically summons this black hole that sucks up stuff. And the more you suck up, the more you get bigger, I guess, which is similar to Frenzy. But you can also float, kind of like the Hover Wisp. It's not the same as the Hover Wisp because you have full directional control instead of Hover just going, you know, you have to press A to hover. But yeah, it's actually pretty neat. And I think it's cool that the different versions have different wisps to, you know, sort of complement. Because Sonic Colors DS is fully 2D. There are no 3D elements at all. So I guess it's kind of interesting that they have wisps that can complement that. But another thing, since we're on the topic of the DS version, I suppose, is that the DS version actually has a different intro cutscene. I'm pretty sure you guys have seen it on episode 1, where it's that one episode of basically introducing everything to the player. Basically, the part where all the wisps come in is changed slightly. So, obviously, the Hover Wisp is not in the game, and neither is the Frenzy Wisp, and those are the 2 wisps that are replaced. How did I die? You don't have that many lives either, by the way, I'd like to point out. You can see that I am very close to death already. Okay, good, we're past that part. So anyway, the cutscene where the wisps are replaced by the Red Burst and the Violet Void Wisps, where the Hover and Frenzy Wisp should be. And I think that was a pretty cool change. I'll put it up on screen if I can find a clean version of it to rip and just download or, you know, just show on screen. I'll just show you the differences. So that's pretty cool. And the descriptions of the DS wisps are kind of lackluster. I'll read them out to you. But there is one thing that's of interest. It's that the red... Oh god, these knock you away. Okay, good to know. Anyway, let me just get up here. Oh yeah, the Gold Ring also transforms into a Chaos Emerald. I can't believe I forgot to mention that. Anyway, so the red wisps are given the scatterbrain description, the lively but scatterbrain description that are usually attributed to the cyan wisps in the Wii version, and the cyan wisps in the DS version are described instead as fast and chatty. Now, the most interesting one, I guess you call it interesting, I don't know, I don't really find it that interesting. I just say interesting because I don't want to... I want to use nicer words other than weird, dumb, boring, etc. But basically, the Violet Void Wisp is described as being very dangerous, and it can bark and bite. Which, you know what? I don't even want to say interesting. That's just a weird description for a wisp. Although it does have a mouth, so I guess it's one of the only wisps that is capable of barking and biting. You know what? I'll accept it. I'll accept that it can bark and bite. And I don't really have much else to talk about because I sort of expected this whole wisp thing to go on for a while, but I guess not. So, you know, I've run out of stuff to say because these levels aren't really that fun. You're basically just watching me do stuff I've done in the main game, but in like an easier mode. So, I don't know. How's your day been? How you guys been doing? I know I can't hear your answer, but tell me in the comments, I guess. I'll respond to them. Tell me how your day's been. Tell me, you know, anything cool that's happened to you in life. I just got done with a bunch of exams, which is pretty cool. That's always fun. But I don't know, there's not much else interesting. I'm recording, as you can very clearly see, or as you will see, I suppose. But yeah, don't really have much to say. I don't know, I guess there's a bunch of other stuff I could talk about in the game that I wanted to say for the next part of the Sonic Simulator, because I'm going to be doing this in 2 parts. I suppose I could talk about it now. One of the main things that I really wanted to talk about is the Eggman PA announcements, which is... Oh, what? Oh, I thought that was a medal. It was a fire column. Great. Anyway, I wanted to talk about the Eggman PA announcements because I think that's where this game's writing shines the most, if I'm being honest. It's actually really funny. There are some really good announcements. I'm sure you guys have heard like the muffled versions of them as we've gone through the various levels. There's some really good... Oh, God! There's some really good ones where Eggman basically... There's one that I really like in the aquarium park where he imitates a pirate. And he's like, you know, he's like doing that promo thing. Like, you know, it's the sea. He's being, pretending to be a pirate to promote his park or whatever. And then he just has this moment of self-awareness. He's like, this is really just stupid, isn't it? There's also a bunch of other sections. There's one in the Sweet Mountain where he goes... He tells people not to lick the rides because that would be disgusting because people have just been sitting on the rides with their butts. And that's another pretty funny one. I know it's like, you know, butt humor is like kind of low, but when you've experienced this game's humor in the cutscenes, man, even that is a step up in comparison. And I have to say, in this regard, Mike Pollock really nails the delivery of Eggman because I think this is where Eggman is at... I think this is where Mike Pollock's Eggman is at his best, by the way. The old Eggman, the Adventure Series Eggman, is really sinister, serious, dark, you know? I feel like Mike Pollock's Eggman, he certainly can be dark, he can be menacing, but I'm not getting that. Actually, you know what? I'll just get it. I'll just show you.
What is that? What the fuck?
That is a really annoying thing. That can try to catch you, and if you aren't careful, you will die to it. I don't even know. I don't even want to, like, go into describing what that thing is. It does disappear when you use a color power, though, so I guess you can keep that in mind. I'll just go ahead and get this drill wisp. That is not there. Great. Anyway, I think this is where... I think the PA announcement is where Mike Pollock's Eggman shines the brightest. Mainly because I think his Eggman is that slightly menacing, but kooky version of Eggman that really works well, in my opinion. He has done some really, like, menacing stuff. Like, there's that one cutscene in Sonic Lost World where he basically just goes absolutely ham on the Zeddy at one point. That's pretty cool. But yeah, what the heck? Can someone explain the physics of how that worked? Oh,
again, dumbbell.
Someone explain the physics of how that one worked. Because I have absolutely no idea how I just zoomed all the way to the top without even hitting a single prism. Anyway, we're getting through these levels pretty fast, but apparently nowhere near fast enough for me to have stuff to keep talking about. Actually, maybe I could just... There's a thing that I could do that I have a decent idea for. Is that I could keep some of the PA announcements for you guys, like, in the next part, not in this part, because I don't think there'll be a chance for me to do it in this part since we're... Well, I wanted to finish all the way up until World 4, I suppose. So, I don't think there's going to be much of a chance for me to keep these PA announcements over, but I might just do it in the next part and consider it as... Oh, I've run out. Oh, I don't have. Okay. I didn't run out. I have the laser wisp. But yeah, since those might drag on for a while and I have absolutely nothing left to talk about by that point, I guess I could just, you know, not have commentary, especially if it's going to be this boring, and I'll just keep in the Eggman PA announcements as part of it. I'll just keep as many of the ones that I like to cover the time. I think that'll be a pretty cool way to do it. We've finished 3 worlds already, and it's been just about 20 minutes. Honestly, I could make this an extra long video, but that would be an absolute nightmare to edit. I would much rather edit this in 2 parts than spend like forever editing just one huge 40-minute video. Boing! I think this stage is meant to be Spring Yard Zone. If we're talking about which homages are being done to Sonic 1, I think this stage is meant to be Spring Yard Zone, because I remember this part here with the alternating platforms, and the balloons, I suppose, are meant to represent the bumpers. I think it's interesting that they chose this, but also, I don't know. I guess, yeah, I really needed someone to have to play this game with. That would have been ideal. I don't know. Single player just doesn't seem to do this justice. Who knows, maybe I can get a emulated version up, and maybe me and a friend can just record a multiplayer version of this. Oh, I can just head through here. That's a cool little secret. I guess that's an interesting way to hide it, you know? Foreground obstruction if you look at it like this. That's pretty cool. Oh god, I thought that was gonna crush me. Oh boy, that was close. I hate these stupid pool balls. I say as I immediately get hit by one. Oh, come on. What do I get? 3 7s. Wow. Okay, right. I forgot. Bad luck in this game when you get the stuff other than Eggman. I completely forgot about that. Great. 10 rings. Oh, do you just get... That's more than 10 rings, but sure. Oh, I guess it's because it's 3 10 rings, so you get 30. I think. I also find it a bit weird that the goal ring spits out rings like bosses do. No, this entire section is a bit weird. The reason I'm even doing this, A, is because, you know, the reward for it, and B, it's to show off this game 100%. Otherwise, we would have just gone to the final part of this game. This part would have been the last one if it weren't for the Sonic Simulator. But it's fine, you know. A game won't always have parts that you like. It's gonna have parts that you don't like. And you don't always have to accept that, you know, a game is perfect in every aspect. Okay, that's a new attack. That's very new. What? I did not expect them to just throw down an electric spike strip. Oh, boy. Oh, we're gonna have some tough times. Hold on. I have to keep... God, this blurring is not helping at all. I'm not gonna lie. Oh, that was close. Oh, that was it. That was it. Oh my god. Okay, that motion blur is not great. I think maybe we weren't supposed to be boosting, but, well, I managed to get it through anyway. I guess it would have been a lot easier for me to just do stuff if this was a blind playthrough. But the fact that I've played this game a lot of times before is that I'm sort of in this limbo stage where I kind of know the game, but I kind of don't. These stages, anyway. I do know most of the game off the top of my head. The only thing that I don't remember are a few red ring placements here and there. Okay, that would work. So the gimmick of this stage, I'm sure you can tell, is using these switches to activate these platforms, which also in turn activates a spike wall that will damage you. And you have no rings, so it's going to instantly kill you. So it's basically a race against time. Again, these levels, this one especially is kind of uninspired, I'm not going to lie. You can just take a quick little shortcut there. Let's see. Oh, I can't. Come on, get it. No, I didn't get it. Oh, I didn't get either of them. Oh, well, whatever. I don't care. Get that Chaos Emerald. I'm also sorry if my commentary has been a bit disjointed during this part. It's because I really don't have much to say other than, you know, just reacting to some of the gimmicks of the Sonic Simulator, but... I mean, I don't know, man. I really don't have much else to say.
What a story,
But I think that's going to be it. Next time, we'll take care of the remaining 3 worlds of the Sonic Simulator and checking out a little bit more in depth of the reward that we get for finishing all of the Sonic Simulator levels. Till then, guys!